Hey guys, so I'm back with the banana bread video. Weird, right? So these are the ingredients you need, so screenshot it. We're gonna start off with bananas, and I like to use my KitchenAid to mash them up. Just put them all in there and then set it on a speed to mash them up. Brown bananas are the best, of course. You don't want them at all to be really bumpy because it'll show up at the end. You need it to be as smooth as possible. At least that's how I like it. So in the meantime, I'm getting ready for my buttermilk, and I'm just making buttermilk with almond milk. You mix like 1 teaspoon of vinegar with the milk. And you don't have to use almond milk. I only use it because my dad wanted me to, but usually I use just like whole milk. And you would usually just let the whole milk and the vinegar set out for 15 minutes until the milk curdles, and then that's how you know you made buttermilk. So now I'm cracking 1 egg and then putting it into the banana mix. And you want to do this separately so that it doesn't curdle or mess up the mixture, because it can do that. So there's 2 eggs. And just let that mix. And now I'm adding the canola oil. And I think you only need half a cup of canola oil. I don't know if you guys like this because it's kind of weird. Hopefully you like these weird little aesthetic angles. Now I'm using my favorite vanilla bean oil, not oil, extract with real vanilla beans in it. It's amazing. I got it from Williams Sonoma, and it lasts forever, and it's like $12. And if you know vanilla extract, it's already expensive, like just getting it at like Walmart, and that barely lasts after you make like 4 desserts. So now my flour, I'm using flour or AP flour and bread flour. I'm gonna use bread flour. You don't have to, because I like that chewy texture. So it has a higher gluten count, so it'll have a chewier texture and kind of act like bread, more like, because it's bread flour. Duh. So I did the less amount of bread flour to all-purpose flour. I'll just write that somewhere or put it right here on the text. And then I added my baking soda and my white sugar. You can add brown sugar. I should have done it. I totally forgot that I do that, but I will do it on the next bread that you'll see. And I think it's really good. It adds like this nice caramelization flavor. And I added just a pinch of salt and just mixed it a little bit so it distributes evenly. And then I'm adding it to my wet ingredients. Don't add it all together. You want to just do it in parts. So I did like half of the flour and then mixed it a little bit so that it won't go crazy. I also added ground cinnamon. You don't have to, but I think banana bread only tastes good when you add like cinnamon and spices. I also like to add allspice. I know that that's not common, but I find it to be really good. I also added some nutmeg, also optional, but I think cinnamon is really good, so you should add that. Then I just mixed that, and then I'm going to add the other half. Oh, make sure you scrape the sides because you don't want to overmix. I have these like most awkward silence right now. I don't know what to say. Make sure you scrape it, guys. You don't want to overmix. So now I'm getting my loaf pan. This makes 1 loaf, by the way. Just using some Pam spray and then evenly put the batter into the pan. The oven should be preheated to 325. Forgot to mention. And this should go in for about an hour is when I checked on it. And then if it's still not done, maybe to an hour 10. It all depends on your oven, but definitely check in around the hour mark. So the next banana bread involves butter. You know, butter makes everything better. This time I'm using a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And then I think it's like 3/4 of white sugar that I added. This is when I was like, oh, I forgot that I like to add brown sugar. So then I Usually, I forgot to mention that I like to cut down the sugar of banana bread because the banana is already sweet. And my parents don't like it too sweet, so I always cut it down. And I cut it down about like at least a fourth cup or half a cup, depending on how I'm feeling. So I did that. Now I'm just mixing it, creaming the butter and sugar together is what I'm doing. And in the meantime, in the background, you see me taking the flours and getting them ready, doing the same thing, using bread flour and all-purpose flour, um, less bread flour and more all-purpose flour, just like last time, and I'll explain that, like I said, but I don't remember what I did, so I'm just going to type it out. Also, baking soda again, 1 teaspoon. And then I forgot to mash the bananas. That's my hand motion doing that. And I was going to use my pestle, or you know what I'm talking about if you're lost, whatever. But then I was like, no, I'm too lazy. So I just took the butter and sugar out of my mixer and then replaced it with the bananas to mash up again. And I didn't really care that there was still some like butter on there. I was just like, it's gonna get mixed up. I just didn't want to over cream the butter and the sugar, so I took it out, majority of it, and then I mashed up. This is 4 bananas, a little bit more than 4 bananas, but it's okay. It's about 2 cups, a little bit over 2 cups of bananas. And then you just want it to get really smooth. Don't forget you need it. Don't make it clumpy. Is it lumpy or clumpy? I don't know. I added 1 egg at a time. Isn't that droop so interesting? I think it is. I should slow-mo that. I might slow-mo that. Then just mix it, and then I added back in the butter and sugar, and just let those marry each other. And then I added whatever was left in the vanilla. There was barely anything, whatever. And I did my flour in parts along with the baking soda and all the salt and whatever else was in that mixture that you guys saw me do in the background. Added cinnamon per usual, and the allspice and the nutmeg, and then added the second part and scrape the sides. Don't ever forget to do that. I just love this. I don't know why it's so satisfying to see me like go around the whole bowl and just like scrape it all up. And just mix it one more time. When you're pretty much almost done, I recommend just mixing it yourself after that. Because you can easily overmix something and you don't want to put too much air in it. At least I don't think you should. Just mix it as much, or like to just get combined. And I forgot where my other loaf pan was, so I just used a cake pan. Just sprayed it with Pam and poured that little sucker in. This one I decided to add chocolate chips, so I added semi-sweet chocolate chips and I added some walnuts, some 60% Ghirardelli semi-sweet, you know, if I want to get technical. The walnuts were kind of gross. I regret adding them. Sometimes I'm just like in the mood for nuts, and then when I eat it, I'm just like, why did I do that? That's how I felt. So this is me showing you that it should be at 325. Put it in. It's about an hour too. They got finished around the exact same time. The banana bread in the loaf pan was done, or like it would have been done before. Or wait, no, that doesn't make sense. The cake one in the cake pan would have been done before the loaf, I think, because it's in a cake pan and they cook evenly and more quicker. So you see me checking it. I checked around the 40 to 50 minute mark and it wasn't done. But now you see me checking the banana bread at its like hour, maybe 5 minutes, I don't know. And it was done. You see the sides are coming out. That's how like you can tell that like something's done when the sides start to like get away from the pan. If that makes sense. Did the knife test. And I let them out to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. And this is a slow-mo. This is so beautifully golden. You can't lie. Has a nice, really nice, I forgot what to say, like, it rose really nice. So I'm cutting into it after I waited. If you don't wait, it's gonna fall apart in your hand and you're gonna cry and tell me you suck, Brittney, and you lied to me, and I'm just gonna be like, no, I didn't. So I'm just touching it like a normal person would, right? Just touch your food and test the fluffiness, I guess. So now I'm trying to decide, and you see how indecisive I am. So I did half of the no toppings, and then I did half of the chocolate walnut topping side. Ooh, you see that crumble fall? That was beautiful. So you see how crumbly the one in the cake pan is, and how like darker it is. I think that's from the brown sugar, to be honest. And then you see the top one is the loaf pan with the canola oil. So I forgot to tell you guys that these are like the top 2 recipes on Google that I've searched, but I did adapt them so they're not the same. Personally, I think I like the one with the butter better. It just was like more moisture in it. I don't want to say moist, but I just did, so whatever. My dad liked the one with the butter better too, but my mom liked the one with the canola oil. I think you guys should try both if you want to. If you guys like this way I did the videos, please let me know and I'll try to do more recipes like this. Thank you. Bye.